naman po, you are seeking an augmentation of the Emergency Repatriation Fund and Alagang OWA Fund, alongside with essential upgrades in the equipment and connectivity, and additional personnel for their 24/7 help desk. My question is, how much funding is truly required for these programs to function optimally? How will the agency ensure that no call for help, no matter the hour, goes unanswered? And with the new personnel and equipment, what concrete mechanisms will be put in place to monitor the efficiency, responsiveness, and accountability?
Mr. Chair, good morning po, Madam Chair. To answer the question, una po, Mr. Chair, ang OWA po ay halos lampas 400 lang po ang plantilla positions ng OWA. Sa na-mention po na 42 na migrant workers offices abroad, ang OWA po ay meron lamang 37 plus 38 na posts, pero sa tao po, 37 lang po ang welfare officers abroad at 52 na administrative staff. Mr. Chair, just for context rin po, kumuha po ako ng example. Sa Hong Kong po, meron ho tayong around 250,000 na OFWs. At sa Hong Kong, malaki po ang membership ng OWA, halos 200,000. Pero sa Hong Kong din po, 4 lang po ang OWA personnel or organic OWA personnel dito. So, kung susumahin, ganun ho karami bawat isa ang hinahawakan ng isang OWA officer. Yung pong na-mention, Mr. Chair, na 24/7 call center or OP center ng OWA, Mr. Chair, nadatnan ko po ito nung Mayo at napag-alaman na ito po ay isang ad hoc committee. Isang malaking pillar ng OWA ang pagsagot sa mga tawag at hingi ng tulong. Sa 24/7 OP Center, Mr. Chair, meron lang po tayong 30 na tao. 29 po dito, job order po, Mr. Chair. 24/7 po ang shifting po nila. Kumingi na po kami ng tulong at suporta sa Department of Budget and Management para po humingi ng additional 98 po at gawin na pong konkreto at gawing permanenteng opisina yung 24/7 po natin na OP Center. Kanina po, Mr. Chair, sa inyo pong opening statement, narinig ko po yung state-of-the-art equipment. Apektado po talaga yung operations kasi po, pag mabagal na po talaga yung computer, hindi ho katulad ng mga, siguro pag nami-mention po yung call center, na-imagine natin yung mga high-tech call center sa private sector, hindi ho ganoon. Nakita po ni Mr. Chair yung pong situation doon. We feel that with additional budget and prioritization, we could improve our response rate. Mr. Chair, to put some context po dyan, ang hinahawakan po ng ating operation center ay halos last year po 79,494. Ngayon po nasa 42,813 na po. In total po, ng cases handled ng OWA for 2025 as of July, 177,819 welfare cases po ang hawak natin. So talaga pong makakatulong when in terms of personnel at in terms of resources. Sa puso at sa willingness, Mr. Chair, syempre bilang administrator, kailangan ko sabihin na talaga namang may puso at willingness ang both DMWO at tumulong. Nakikita ko nga ho, lampas 8 oras, 10 oras na nagtatrabaho yung mga tao. Pero hindi po bumibitaw dahil yun po ang mandato namin. So with additional personnel, we expect efficiency, we expect speed in responding to the concerns of our OFWs. Ang masabi ko rin po regarding our request for restoration or augmentation of our ERF is simple po, Mr. Chair. Ang Emergency Repatriation Fund ay mula pa noong 1995 po ito na nasimulan. No? And sa amin pong palagay, ito pong Emergency Repatriation Fund, syempre ho, hindi ito magagamit kung wala naman pong masamang nangyayari, katulad ng kalamidad, digmaan, at kung ano pa pong mga emergencies na hinaharap ng ating mga kababayan. So ito po ay hinahanda just in case may mangyari. And looking at the situation globally, Mr. Chair, marami pong pwedeng mangyari at may nangyayari nga po as we speak. In fact, continuous pa rin po ang pagre-repatriate natin sa mga kababayan natin from Israel and Lebanon together with the DMW. Ito po ay parang standby fund. At minsan nga po, pag tinatanong, hindi nyo nagamit yung ERF, somehow, maganda yung feeling kasi ibig sabihin, Mr. Chair, we didn't need to touch the emergency repatriation fund. But in a way, the non-utilization is somehow being used against us when it comes to adding or requesting for additional funding for programs that are not contingent, like the Alagang OWA, Mr. Chair. As I mentioned earlier, Mr. Chair, kailangan po namin ng additional funding. Yung nakalagay po sa NEP na 142 million for Alagang OWA, Mr. Chair, is not enough just to sustain our existing facilities, including the OFW lounges, both in Terminals 1 and 3, na over 1.5 million na po ang nasuserve. Yung ating pong Seafarers Hub. Mr. Chair, ito pong Seafarers Hub, pinilot po ito last year. Pero po, nakalagay ho sa batas na dapat seafarer welfare centers po ang maitayo sa siyam na probinsya. Wala pong allotment ito. Siyam po ito at nandun po ito sa Magna Carta for Seafarers. And AOA po ang nabigyan ng mandato to establish these seafarer welfare centers na napaka-importante po, Mr. Chair. If I may po, meron pong siyam na probinsya na niname po sa Magna Carta. Ito po, of course, una-una po, of course, Metro Manila, NCR. But aside from NCR, Pangasinan, Bulacan, Cavite, Batangas, Iloilo, Cebu, Cagayan de Oro, and Davao City. Ito po yung siyam na lugar kung saan inatasan po tayo to put up the seafarer welfare centers. They are part of the Alagang OWA program po to provide comprehensive welfare, legal, educational, support services, including health, and addressing the needs of our seafarers in the major crew change ports po, Mr. Chair.
Also, yun nga din, another question since I mentioned yung nga sa OFW lounges natin. I believe these facilities are crucial for OFWs. They not only provide convenience, but a place to rest, but also protect OFWs from sketchy individuals such as scammers, pickpockets who are seeking to exploit them for their own material gain. With the budget cut sa agency nyo po, how many OFW lounges will you be able to maintain now at our airports and seaports? How much would be needed more to ensure full optimization of these lounges?
Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, kung yung nasa NEP po na 142 million, kahit isa po, hindi po namin mako-continue at the level of service that we're giving our OFWs. Mr. Chair, 24/7 po ang operations nito. Alam niyo po, marami po tayong kababayan na first time pong umalis abroad. Galing po pa po silang probinsya. Instead of them going to hotels or yung po nakikita natin dati, Mr. Chair, sa airport na nakaupo, nakahiga sa floor sa airport, dito po sila sa sarili nilang lounge. In fact, meron din po tayong together of course with NAIA management, meron po tayong nilagay din na sleeping quarters, Mr. Chair. Kasi po may mga kababayan po tayo na darating po sa airport sa mga madaling araw po, yung flight po nila sa gabi pa or sa hapon pa po, dito po mararamdaman talaga nila yung sinasabi natin na bagong bayani sila. In fact, may mga feedback din na natutuwa sila, Mr. Chair, kasi nilalagyan din natin ng serbisyo counters, Mr. Chair, of OWA and DMW doon. Kasi po, kung first time traveler sila, hindi po sila sanay doon sa proseso. So this is our kumbaga last contact point bago po sila lumipad. And ang maganda po, for example, yung sa Terminal 3 po natin, paglabas po nila ng OFW lounge, diretso na po to sa OFW lane. So makikita nyo po na mas madali po at mas maayos yung experience ng ating mga OFWs. Mr. Chair, ito pong hinihingi naming suporta sa lounges. Gusto ho sana namin pati sa Cebu International Airport, pati po sa Clark, marami po ring flight sa Clark International Airport, makapag-put up din po kami ng OFW lounges. Nasabi ko po kanina, pagdating po of course pag nagpa-participate po kami ng DMW and other agencies sa mga regional, multilateral, and even bilateral mga meetings, sinasabi po sa amin na yung Overseas Employment Program po ng Pilipinas na 5 dekada na po, gold standard po pagdating sa welfare protection. Ito pong lounges, nabibili po yung mga tao kasi syempre po, akala nila mga business class passengers lang ang mabibigyan ng ganitong klaseng treatment. And this is how we treat our OFWs. This is how we should treat them. And more, Mr. Chair. Kaya importante po sa amin yung augmentation sa Alagang OWA Fund. Ito po ay hindi contingent, ito po ay diretso and direct assistance para po sa ating mga kababayang OFWs at kanilang pamilya.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the end, this is not merely just a question of numbers on a spreadsheet. It is a question of who we choose to stand for. Behind every remittance and sleepless nights, behind every deployment, a tearful goodbye. Behind every successful OFW story is an unseen army of DMW and OWA workers who quietly carry their burdens as if they were their own. If our OFWs can carry the torch of our nation through the darkness of distance and years of longing, then surely we can keep that light burning for them in return. Let us give the DMW and OWA the means to protect our people, to bring them home safe, and remind them that their country stands firmly behind them, because when we stand for them, we stand for the best of who we are as a people. Thank you po, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative Brian